G'day and welcome to Cities Skylines. We're back in Amity Bay, a modded Let's Play series. If you have just discovered the channel, check out the playlist in the corner and also in the description below so you can see how we got to this point in our ever-expanding city. So the city has been steadily growing as we've built out from our starting square, suburban sprawl, mid-density, our island of Bridgewater, as well as some cracking regional style builds as well. But there's one thing that's lacking: ships. We don't have a single one sailing across this map yet, and that's because we don't have a cargo port or a harbour. Now for the harbours, I have a few ideas, but we'll come back to that in a future video. For today, I want to build our first of two cargo docks. We have this chunk of area in the middle of our map which will sprawl into downtown here and continue the suburban sprawl back here. So I really don't want to drop a cargo port smack bang in the center here. I want all this to be really beautifully aesthetic, touristy, beachy, really spectacular. So what I think we should do is have one up to the north and then another one down to the south. Down here we can have like a super port and just build out a nice big industrial conglomerate with a shipbuilding yard. But for this build, I want to do a smaller variation up north so that we can start exporting goods via ship, get our trains, which are currently carrying all our industrial goods out of the city by rail, to drop them at the cargo port as well and get them shipped out by sea. So let's take a look here. This little spot can be dedicated to our northern port. We can expand it out with the Vanya's Industrial Evolution assets, and if we roll back the hedge fog here, yeah, I think this spot is perfect. Highway connections, rail connections, it's ideal. I think we can also ditch a bit of this beach. We have plenty of lovely beach areas further south, so we really don't need that up here, it'll be wasted. Rightio, time to stand up a dock. Let's go! Okay, let's take a look at our cargo hub and our dock area here. So I created this custom jump at Interchange here to get the highway connections into this area. As you know, I'm not the best interchange builder, so I was quite happy with how this turned out. It isn't a dog's breakfast, which I thought it might be. Then because we were making a big fuss about this bit, I had a couple of bridge assets from the workshop by Jaren Abel. If you've not seen them, check them out. There are some absolute crackers on there. So I've gone with this one and then run the train lines underneath, and I think it looks so much better now. A real statement bridge. Then around to our cargo dock area here. So the cargo hub asset was a little fiddly to get working, only because I wanted to sit it back on the quay so the rail line would be over the land instead of over the sea. But it didn't like it and none of our industry would export to it. So after some fiddling around, this configuration seems to work without me having to sit those rails out over the ocean there, which I just don't want to do. It's why I've grabbed this asset over the vanilla one, as at least on this one the rail sits back behind where the cargo ships dock. But yeah, I didn't really want the rail line over the ocean either. So we got there in the end. I've used some cargo airport sub-buildings here because I really like that little tower. I know absolutely nothing about how cargo shipping ports work, but I figured the harbour master would sit up there and at least need a higher, wider view of everything coming in and out, or there might be some cargo ship crashes. So I just grabbed a sign I had in my asset list and popped it over the airport part of the sign on the side of the building there, so it didn't say cargo airport. Then these yellow buildings are also cargo airport sub-buildings as well, but don't have airport written on them. I really like the way they look, and I think they suit this area so well. Around this side, just in with lots of Avanya's Industrial Evolution assets to give that warehousey type feel that you'd see in a dock area. Then a few vanilla industrial assets as well for some variation. I also thought this might be a good location to pop some of the new higher capacity helicopter depots for both fire and police. One, because they're out of the way over here, but also we're only a short flight from where our downtown will be, so I think this helicopter coverage so close to that will be welcome for sure. A cheeky radio mast over this side, which kind of looks like it belongs to the helicopter depot. I put in a huge warehouse mostly for aesthetics here because one, it's an amazing asset, and two, it really provides some variation, which is very much needed to bulk out the port. It's set to export commercial goods, so it's churning away. I also put down a mail sorting facility there too, and it might have been a massive mistake because the pesky mail vans just clog up the roads. But again, it sits so well within this area, so let's leave it for now. I even put in a little traffic relief roundabout there as those pesky vans were clogging everything up. Over this side, we have some water treatment plants, purely because I think the big tanks really suit a dock area. Same for those water tank reservoirs over there, far enough away though, so as not to store polluted water. Then just some industrial and office assets mixed in and around as well to beef things out. I've used a lot of these container warehouse assets by Ivania, which as you'll know, do actually function properly as well, and I've set each one to the resources that we're generating and set them to export as well. Again, I really want them for the aesthetics, but they function and each one is only sending out 1 or 2 trucks, so it's not massively causing headaches for us, just yet. Then because we have quite a lot of industrial assets here, we naturally got a huge spike in residential, so I've put a small village behind here, which would be where a lot of the dock workers live, so that's tucked back there as well. And that's our dock area. Right, time to detail all this up. Let's bring it to life. Rightio, let's see how this turned out. So starting at our cargo hub here, extending it out with another port crane prop, then a ton of additional cargo containers to supplement our cargo container assets that act as warehouses. Then in with a lot of concrete decals to rough up that concrete. That will be a recurring theme, you'll notice. Those in containers, they are everywhere. Then in awkward little pockets like this, I just put more containers, crates, barrels and forklifts just to make it look like the port is really busy and there's constantly goods flowing in and out and being temporarily stored places. These little forestry assets get a dose of plank props there, and this little one here looked like it would house chickens or something, so I put piles of grain on the ground for that as well. Then around all these industrial assets, just tons of cargo-y props. I think cargo detailing is my favourite. I have spent hours and hours doing this. It's been great fun. A few fire truck props and a fire helicopter prop for the helicopter depot there. Same for the police helicopter depot as well. Around these office assets, a few concrete planters with benches for people to come out and have their lunch so they don't have to sit at their desks and eat, or just get some fresh air. Lots of post containers next to our post sorting facility, then truck and container props for our huge warehouse here as well. Then more of the same around these industrial assets, just taking cues from the assets themselves and building on that. A few cheeky trees as it's very grey with all the concrete, so I wanted to bring a little green in, otherwise it would be really drab. I can't imagine there'd be a lot of trees, so I've used them sparingly. Around the front here, I ended up putting some fishing harbours in and then a fish factory as well. Then I made this custom loading bay with another port crane prop, some crane track decals and line decals. Like the trucks are being unloaded and then the crane is sorting them into piles before they're lifted onto the container ships. We were a bit low on water, so I love these large water towers, then a little detailing in the roundabout here as well. And then I found this cute little cargo harbour sign which I put here and further along where the entrance is off the highway here. Then a bit of IMT on the highways there, and we are good. And there we have it, a fully functional port has arrived in the city and I'm super happy with how it turned out. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for this video. If you're new to the channel, check out the playlist in the description below. There are some cracking builds, you'll love it. If you're on Discord, jump over to my Discord community and introduce yourself. We've got such a great community. Stick around for the Cinnos up next, but until next time, take care, have a great day, and thanks again for watching.